The economy is changing right before your eyes, and this will change everything. In today's video, I'm going to break down very simplistically on why gold is an all-time high, why Bitcoin's at an all-time high, and why I believe XRP and Bitcoin are going to be number one and number two by 2030 when the dust settles. It's simple. Now, the difference is our grandparents and our parents didn't have the tools and resources that we have. They also didn't have the invention of blockchain technology, digital assets that have fixed supplies. One that was created in 2009, Bitcoin, that has a fixed supply of 21 million. 95% of the supply is gone. It's one of the most scarce assets in the world and has become one of the greatest hedge, against the deflating US dollar, which I'm going to show you. And number two, I think it was around 2012, 2013, came in Ripple, creating XRP, a token that also has a fixed supply and has a burn mechanism and can actually radically transform the financial system and move liquidity at the speed of light. I don't make my decisions off hype. I don't make it off emotions. I do it off facts, figures, numbers, logic. And when they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. So I'm going to break down the collapse in US dollar, the assets that people are getting into. On the back end of every video, I show you exactly what I'm doing to include my portfolio. All right, so let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to show you is a blank screen here that has nothing on it. Just kidding. Here we go. All right, so the first thing I want to show you here is the US dollar has lost 10% of its value this year. So there's your first hint, okay? There's no emotion in this, guys. It's not about trying to pick, I always tell people, your number one job in my coaching programs is to beat inflation. I'm an educator. I teach people what the Federal Reserve is, what money is and what it is not. And your job is to beat inflation. Okay. You can do it through the S&P. You can do it through gold. You can do it through silver. We do it through digital assets. We do it through cash value life insurance. We do it through doing leverage on the right side of the quadrant, not the consumer side, but the asset side to build more wealth. Okay. All you have to do is beat inflation. So take all the emotion out of this and understand that your US dollars collapsed 10% or lost 10% of its value just this year. We had 24% inflation from 2020 to 2024. The average American needs to make about $140,000 just to be middle class. And I just saw a study that says a single family home needs about $100,000 just to survive in Arizona. Crazy, right? So those are the numbers. That's why you're feeling the pressure. Okay, so we need to understand why you're feeling the pressure. So the dollar is going down simplistically. Okay, so this is not about getting all hyped up on what's going on and riddlers and all this different stuff. The system has to change. And so here's Anthony Pompliano on CNBC, and he's going to explain it very, very well. It's simple. Okay, so if you know the dollar is losing its value, it has no backing. So there's no stopping that. As they print money, there's no stopping that. Okay, so your $1 million in your bank account, it's a facade. It says $1 million, but it's losing value as it sits there. So the trick is it shows you $1 million, but the value keeps going down. Now they're taking your million and they're beating the hurdle rate. They're using your money and doing what we do with our money. Okay, so at the back end, this will make a lot of sense on why I do my capital DR strategy. Check this out.
Good to see you. So I have to tell you, when we talk about crypto, Bitcoin, you want to keep up to date. It's a big, important market now with massive participation, but the story's always the same, isn't it? I mean, it's sort of like store of value, more people know about it and want to participate in it. Is there anything that's kind of moving the needle on a fundamental basis or a flow basis at this point?
Well, look, I actually think one of the problems with the traditional financial market is that people have to pay attention to it, right? If you think about what's going on in the stock market, I have to know what the company is, what products they're constantly coming out with, who are they selling them to, what's the latest earnings report, what's interest rates, all this information. It's very hard. And so if you think of the average American, they are getting punished in the economy, right? That K-shaped economy is really, really hurting a very large portion of it. And the beauty of Bitcoin is the very simple story. They are never going to stop printing money. So therefore, Bitcoin will never stop going up. And if you simply think of Bitcoin as savings technology, all you have to do is go out, work hard at your job, make money, spend less than you make, and then put the extra savings into Bitcoin and then allow Bitcoin to benefit from what we know is going to happen, which is they are never going to stop printing money.
And boom, I'll leave it right there. Couldn't explain it any better myself. Okay. So on the back end, now hopefully that will make sense to you why I use Bitcoin, why I use XRP, Okay, they're fixed supply assets. So my capital DR strategy, I create cash flow. I teach my daughter to do the same thing. She's 21. She has grown her portfolio by 200% at 21 years old. Okay, money compounds every 7 years at 10%. She takes her hard-earned money and every single day she dollar cost average into Bitcoin and XRP. She has grown her portfolio by 200%. My daughter didn't go to school and spend $100,000 on an education to make $30,000 a year. She works full-time with me. She travels around the world every single month. She's going all over the place. By 30 years old, she'll never have to work for money again. This is your opportunity to transform your family's life by understanding simple mechanisms of inflation and interest rates. Okay. So here's the reality that you're facing. You can balk at this. You can put comments down below. You can get as upset as you want. This is the reality. Okay. Just in, BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF is now their most profitable ETF. All of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is the most profitable ETF. The signs are everywhere. Let me give you another one. As you see the thumbnail, just in, 6 billion Open Door CEO says they will enable buying homes using Bitcoin and crypto. It took 9 years for Bitcoin to reach 16,000, and last week it was up 16,000. It's simply because they're printing money. Guys, they're about to lower interest rates, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow on the back end October. I'm hoping they go 50 basis points. I think they're going to go 0.25 again because Jerome Powell's just throwing a hissy fit, right? But if they go 0.25 or 0.5, guys, if they lower rates twice the back end of this year in October, with these ETFs coming in, and naturally the cycle, it's just a natural cycle. It's following the exact same cycle, guys. Everybody's getting all like, it's the same cycle with Bitcoin after 18 months. October, November flies, and then December, Bitcoin's going to peak at its all-time high. It's just a cycle, just like nature. Okay, Bitcoin's going to peak, and then everybody's going to get wrecked because it's going to come sliding back down. It's going to bleed into altcoins. Altcoins are going to pump all other cryptos. Everybody's going to get super bullish in euphoria, and then I think people are arguing with me, but I think we're still going to go into a bear market. There'll always be a bear market. I hear people saying, even people close to me, like, there's not going to be a bear market. I'm like, then there wouldn't be markets. Markets would not exist. There's always going to be a bear market. It may not be an 80% bear market, and it may extend a little bit further into 2026 because here's why. It's macroeconomics. They're going to keep lowering interest rates. When Trump gets a new Fed chair in there, guess what? Trump owns a shitload of real estate, and Trump owns a shitload of crypto now. So would he want interest rates higher or lower? Lower, because his family's going to get very, very wealthy. So do what they're doing. That's all you have to do. The game has always been the same. Think about that. Who do we give our taxes to? Who's on the coin? Caesar. Give your taxes to Caesar. Give to God what is his. It's in the same game, guys. He flipped over the money changers when he came back. It's the same game all the time. You've been being played since the Federal Reserve was created. It's always been that way with the monetary system. So take the emotion out of it, take the hype out of it. Okay. So this is the market snapshot. So what I would highly, highly encourage you to do. Okay. So I'm the co-founder and creator of this app, Merlin. Okay. So number one, I'm going to show you how powerful this is. We created an interface. This is not an exchange. It doesn't hold your crypto. Nobody can hack your crypto in here. It's just an interface. So imagine having all your assets organized in one place. You can see your structure. You should know exactly where your portfolio percentages are. You can adjust the amount of your holdings. Okay, this is our demo account. Keeps you super organized, but this is how I look at my crypto. I do not get on my exchanges when I'm traveling around on Wi-Fi. Okay, I do a lot of traveling, or even if you're like in a grocery store, to the gym, you should not be logging on to your exchanges. This keeps you safe because it's just an interface. Then have you all your exchanges in one place, and you can set up a profit-taking plan. Check this out. Boom. You go in here, you can set up a profit-taking plan. You're like, what is a profit-taking plan? Well, we show you how to do that. Okay, that's what we do. We're educators. Okay, we have a whole system where we teach you how to take profits, creating your exit strategy. Okay, if you get stuck, we got personalized customer service. We'll walk you through it. So here's what we'll do for you. If you want to try it before you buy it, it's 30 days for free. In my bio or description of this video, you can also join our education academies. You'll see that as well. You can also download my free book, but you can download Merlin 30 days for free, or click my bio, 30 days for free, and try it before you buy it. So as you can see, the markets right now, Bitcoin dominance is at 57%. Bitcoin's at 124,000. It's about to go to 125 probably today. 4.7 for ETH, and XRP is at $2.98. Okay, we got the Bitcoin, or excuse me, the XRP ETFs coming up on the back end of October. I think it's 18th, 19th, 23rd, 24th, and going into the 14th November. We have October 29th, which I'll discuss tomorrow, which is going to be the interest rates dropping. I'm super non-emotional about this. Here's why. Okay, a disciplined, consistent man will beat a genius every single time. I have a system for my physical walk, my spiritual walk, and my financial walk. To me, these are just assets that help me beat inflation to keep my family healthy financially. That's it. That's it. Okay. So what I did was, if I know that the cash system is trash, since 1913, when the Federal Reserve was created, your dollars collapsed 96 to 97%. Those are facts. It's not like conspiracy. It's the dollars collapsed. And let's use the word lost value from 96 to 97%. All fiat systems collapse in time. Okay, we're in a transition though. We actually are lucky because this isn't 1929 to 1942. Hear ye, the banks are collapsing. We actually have assets that we can get into and that we can understand through the internet and research. Imagine if our grandparents had the ability to research. We have the ability to research and not get played. Okay, so if we know just factually that your dollar has lost 96 to 97% of its purchasing power, and just this year, in 2025, you've lost 10% of your purchasing power. So as your money sits in your bank account, you get told, save your money, save your money. Well, why do they tell you to save your money? Because when it's in the bank account, the savings account, they're doing what? They're beating the hurdle rates. They're putting it into the capital markets, making interest income, lending it to the next person walking in. Okay. So put yourself in first position. So if you believe cash is trash and you understand that it's gone down 10%, then your next job is to create cash flow and get it into assets, which is A, capital, C, cash flow, A is appreciating assets that beat inflation, that have fixed supplies. Okay. P is protection. The first annuity was in the Roman days. Insurance has been around since the Roman days. I use cash value life insurance. Tax code 7702A was created in 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created, which allows you to borrow against cash value life insurance tax-free. We actually use these properly and we fund them properly. Okay. And then L is leverage. Okay. So what I do is I leverage to make myself wealthier. Most people leverage to make themselves poor. Okay. Then DR, de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Let me say it one more time. De-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Okay. So as these assets fly through the roof, I'm de-risking. I'm getting some off the table. I don't just sit there and watch it go up and come down. I'm not vertical. I'm not watching the markets go up in class. I'm pulling, de-risking, securing, leveraging, repeating. Okay. So here's how my whole flywheel works. I created cash flowing businesses. Okay. You may have a job that creates cash flow. Okay. When I get paid, 10% goes into cash generating dividends. These are higher risk options, dividends, synthetic option calls that pay me a large amount of money each month. It's like a paycheck every month. I don't do anything. It's Warren Buffett style. They come in. There's different tiers to dividends. You got tier 1, which is high risk. You can do medium risk, which are guaranteed 10 to 15%, which is not synthetic. You're buying the stock. Then you have like Warren Buffett style, 2.4% to 3% Coca-Cola, right? And so then you can barbell it out. But I like to do the high risk because I de-risk. So I go high risk, high return, and I de-risk down into A. Okay. So 10% goes in. So once a month, I have dividends coming in that go buy XRP and Bitcoin. Anything outside my debts and non-negotiables, my cash flow, all my cash is stored in Bitcoin and XRP. That's what I do. I'm not saying you have to do that. Okay. Why do I do that? What's the why? The dollar's collapsed 10%. So why the heck would I store my money in something that's collapsing 10%? That makes zero sense to me, just to me. So we have our money in our bank accounts to, we use banks. We have 6 companies. So we pay our team members, we have payroll, all that stuff. But even at a company level, right? We run 20% profit margins. Our CFO, our treasury, we take 20% of the 20% and we actually go into Bitcoin, XRP, and dividends. We do the same strategy for our company. Okay. Because if we lost 10% purchasing power and we have shareholders, our job is to increase the enterprise value of this company. So my job is to grow the enterprise value of our company and the enterprise value of my family legacy, right? That's our jobs as men and heads of household. So I'm taking my hard-earned money and I'm growing. So I go into digital assets. I love digital assets. I understand them. I know them. I can explain them to a 10-year-old. So my holdings within the asset space are XRP, Bitcoin. This is in order. Solana, XLM, WFI now, just patched my HBAR, and VChain. I don't know why I think that's funny, but it's just kind of silly because I just, when I get convicted in something, I'm like, I'm going all in, right? So it's a good part of my personality and can be a flaw sometimes, as long as I'm in the right vehicle. Okay. So cash flow, 10% goes into high risk dividends, synthetic option calls. I'm getting paid a large amount of money or a large amount of time. And I'm sure I'm getting out of the market, de-risking every single month, not out of the market. I'm taking the cash flow and I'm putting it into Bitcoin XRP. So I'm buying Bitcoin and XRP every day, dollar cost averaging. I buy the dips. I have the dividends paying for more. So I'm just stacking. When they profit, okay, now we're going into the heavy bull run right now, October, November, December. Bitcoin, we're going to move to leverage. Okay, let's pop it over to leverage. We're not touching it. I'm going to take altcoins and I'm going to sell 50% as you come in and get all greedy and you try to get rich. I'm going to be selling on the way up. You're never going to catch the top. Okay. These influencers are convincing you. And I'm okay being wrong. 1000% okay being wrong. That's going to go to $10,000 in the next 6 months. I'm okay being wrong, but I don't bank on that type of stuff. Okay. I bank on reality of measuring history. And then we do Fibonacci and we just look and say, okay, this is what we think it's going to go to. And then we do calmly exit. And then we keep a moon bag just in case they are right. Because if they're right, shit, I'll give them some money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if it does go to those, then I'm okay being wrong. That's why I hold a moon bag. Okay. So as I exit, I pull. First phase of the pull is protection. I max fund my cash value life insurance. Money's protected. Nobody can touch it. Market like returns, which is pretty exciting. Okay. We got to beat inflation. Then when the markets collapse, I have protection. It's insured my principal. And here's the key. This is my specialty is I leverage at 5%, low leverage. And this is the greatest way to leverage. And what do? I buy more assets. Okay. So then we have the leverage category, which I have my Bitcoin and leverage. Today, congratulations to our team. I'm so proud of our Freedom firm and, my CFO May and my CFO Jeremy and my COO May and our amazing Freedom Insurance team. We have 9 badass agents as we just paid our firm off today and we used our own money. That's DeFi. We actually used our Bitcoin to buy our firm. And today I just got the letter. It's paid, or the letter. It's got a letter in the mail by the stork. The email that said our firm is paid off today. So we leveraged our own asset, DeFi. They gave me their money tax-free at 14%. Okay. But here's the thing. My Bitcoin grew over 50% this year. So I made about 36% on borrowing. It's paid off. And now I have that liquidity again to go borrow low leverage on that. Digital assets, really important. I go low leverage because the market's like this. Okay. On the insurance side, you can go as much as I'll give you. Right. So does that make sense? So comment down below if this is making sense. We got the whiteboard rocking and roll. I'm trying to get it set up, and I'm going to start probably doing a live show every single week where I'll be doing whiteboarding where I can answer questions because I love teaching like this. This is fun. And if you notice, my superpower is discipline and consistency. I repeat the same things over and over. And I promise you by 2030, I'm going to be saying the same thing and I'll just add new things to it. I just add new things to it. It's called A times E equals R. Super simple, men and women, head of households. If you don't have a result, it's you. It's either your activity or your effectiveness. That's it. That's it. And head of household men, this is why you're stressed and you have anxiety all the time, is because you're not doing the things you need to do. You can't predict your future. So of course you have stress and anxiety all the time because you don't know the seeds that are planted, or the seeds are planted all over the place and you have no idea what fruit's going to come out. And so it's constant chaos. That's why you can't sleep. To be calm, to be stoic is to be disciplined. To know what seeds you're planting, to till the ground every single day. So capital DR is what I created. It works. It works. We went from completely losing everything in 2020 with a $30,000 crypto portfolio to me being like, F this, you're never going to take away my ability to take care of my, they shut down my business. I was like, nope. So I studied. So I was like, okay, because knowledge is not wisdom. Trust me. Knowledge is not wisdom. Okay. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge enacted upon becomes wisdom. There's a lot of very smart people that I met that ain't doing shit with their lives. But the people that I met that may not be the smartest cats in the world, right? Dyslexia, but are the most disciplined win 100% of the time. Michael Jordan was cut from his basketball team in high school. The greatest player of all time, right? There's no magic pill to this, okay? So I created Capital DR, and that's why I built this out as my system in phase 2 now. I created cash flow. I didn't buy Lambos, Ferraris, and watches. I moved the cash flow into deflationary assets. One grew 800%, one grew 200%. My overall portfolio grew, I think it's 340%. It's pretty damn good, right? The dollar lost 10% of its purchasing power just this year and 24% inflation from 2020 to 2024. And we grew our overall portfolio 340. Not bad, right? Money compounds naturally every 7 years at 10%. We crushed that model. Okay. But that wasn't greedy. I took some off the table and I'm taking some off the table now when it goes up and I'm putting some into protection. Lock that lock it down, baby. My family's protected. If I die tomorrow, my family is Gucci, man. Gucci. But I'm worth more alive than I am dead. And then I have leverage, right? So now I can borrow against my assets to buy more cash flow. I only borrow to buy more assets or cash flow that'll pay off the leverage. And I'm super disciplined. That's it. And I de-risk. If anything's paying me a large amount of money in a short amount of time, I make sure I get some off the table. I don't believe in riddlers. I don't believe in hype. I don't believe in flip of a switch. I used to, but I don't believe in that stuff anymore. I believe in discipline, consistency. Okay. And the people that I trust and I run with are disciplined and consistent. And I cut out anybody who's out of alignment with my principles and who is sloppy and a risk to my ecosystem. It's God, family, protect your ecosystem at all costs. Stay out of other men's business. You're too busy working on yours. That's it. No magic pills. So I'll get off my soapbox. I love you guys with all my heart. I appreciate you. If you would like to, we are educators. I want to make this very clear. We do not have an investment platform. I will never DM you about your crypto. You can actually report scam accounts now. We have a whole team 24 hours a day working on this where there's thousands of scam accounts. We'll never DM you about your crypto. Never send anybody pretending to be crypto. Okay. In the description of the video, my social media platform, you can actually report scam accounts. You'll put them in there. My team will take them out and we'll go and work to take their account down. Number 2, we are educators. So we actually empower people and teach you our Capital DR strategy. I show you my whole strategy and I empower you to understand how to create your own strategy. We're educators. Okay. We're not brokers. We don't invest your money. We're insured on the brokerage side and insurance. We actually help people with cash value life insurance. You can set an appointment there. All my resources are down below. Everything I speak about is something I own or I do myself. Okay. Very important. I actually own Freedom. I actually own 3T Warrior Academy. I own Merlin. These are my own ecosystems. And that's a very big thing for me. I think it's very important to advertise what you believe in. Warriors, get your shit together. Love you guys.